Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to this scenario explanation. Today is June 9th, and this is the open book examination for NIBOSH. I will not be covering these points as you all know them. So only this one maybe I will cover. You are required to attempt all tasks, so you have to solve all of them. But first, let's go over the scenario and see what's going on. I'll be explaining points. I'll be reading between the lines. So even if you have answered some questions, meaning even if you have solved some tasks, watch this video as it may contain, or definitely it will contain, more information that you might find useful, and maybe you will need to revise your answers. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The scenario states, you have recently taken on the role of a team leader at a small removal company. Removals company means basically it's a move-in service. You hire this company to move your equipment, your furniture, whatever. It's like a logistics company. And you hire this company for small businesses or whatnot. So the company carries out both local and nationwide work. So it's not only to move equipment from this neighborhood to that. You can move it from this neighborhood to that, and within cities of your country. For private and commercial clients. So if you have a house or if you have a company, you can use this. They operate from two sites, a small warehouse and compound, where the 7 removal vehicles of varying sizes are kept. So this is giving you information here. It has 7 removal vehicles, and they are different sizes. And where are they kept? At the compound, at the warehouse and the compound. And a smaller office site. So this site is smaller than the compound. It has 3 office workers. They are 2 miles from the warehouse, so like 3 kilometers. You carry out the role of health and safety advisor for both sites. So you are in charge of the health and safety responsibilities for both locations. In addition to this, you are responsible for the day-to-day management of your team. You are. The team consists of 7 drivers and 8 porters. Porters are like the movers that do the manual labor, who assist the driver to move items of furniture. So the manual handling laborers. You deliver a short induction training session to new workers. Okay, so the induction is short. What does it involve? It involves a tour of both sites. So you take them here and you take them there. Health and safety information, including first aid and emergency arrangements. This is very important here. You teach them about first aid and emergency arrangements. Okay? You teach them that. The new workers. And information on the relevant policies and procedures. You and one other person are the only trained first aiders. So in the company that has 7 vehicles, it has 7 vehicles and 8 workers. You and 3 office workers. You and another person are the only ones that are trained in first aid. So you carry out the role of first aider for the warehouse site, and the other first aider is based at the office site. Okay, so one is at the office site and the other is at the warehouse. Okay. Fully stocked first aid boxes are located at each site. So at the sites you have first aid boxes, and the contents are replenished as required. So whenever you open it, it's full because they never leave it empty. Both you and the other first aider have completed a first aid at work course. That's good. And attend a 1 day first aid refresher course as required. Okay, that's actually very good. So you take refresher training. That's important. To assist with the movement of vehicles, a safe system of work is in place. Okay, and that's also good. That stipulates that drivers must use a banksman when maneuvering. Okay, so when you back up, when you're okay, good. You need to have a banksman. Next to the compound is the warehouse. The warehouse is used for temporary storage of customers' furniture and other possessions. Okay, that's also good. Although small, the warehouse is well laid out with clearly marked pedestrian walkways. Okay, very, very impressive. Forklift truck routes, good. And strong 3-story high racking, very good. I'm not saying this ironically, this is actually very, very good. There is a large roller shutter door giving clear, wide access to the warehouse. I will show you what the roller shutter door is. Okay, so this is the door. This is the gate that it was talking about. So, the forklifts and whatnot can move freely. They can come in and go inside the warehouse, and they have wide access. So this is the roller shutter door. So drivers and porters take pride in cleanliness and tidiness when carrying out work in the warehouse. This is also very, very good. Good housekeeping. One would say that is a sign of good health and safety culture, but it depends on you if you get the point. The company is very busy. All the vehicles are in use every day. So there's no spare vehicles, no spare team or anything. So they're all being used every day. The warehouse is at full capacity, okay? And there is pressure to complete jobs as quickly and efficiently as possible. Pay attention here. It didn't just say as quickly as possible. It said as quickly and efficiently as possible. The manager who operates from the office site visits clients. Pay really, really, really close attention here. He visits clients and assesses their removal requirements. So if I was this guy, if there's a location, easy access, easy everything, workers will not suffer, so okay, it's good. But if I go to another place that requires other steps, I should also make notes, make assessments, and evaluate whether or not I need to send more people or same size, whatever. So this manager visits the clients and assesses their removal requirements by evaluating any potential problems or issues to help ensure correct allocation of resources. Okay, so the manager is the one that decides whether or not this job can be done with one truck, one worker, and one driver, or one truck, 4 workers, and one driver, and whether or not they need additional sources and equipment. The manager also visits the warehouse site each day to carry out an inspection, check on the capacity levels, and to speak directly with workers. Okay? The manager feels it is important to speak personally to each worker regularly and to be kept up to date with any problems. This is a very, very, very good health and safety culture sign, actually. The manager is also responsible for the regular internal audit of management processes. Okay, so the same manager does the audits for the internal, or he does the internal audit for management processes. Although most of the drivers have been employed for many years, there has been a high level of turnover for porters. So now pay attention, guys. The drivers, see here, the drivers have been employed for many, many years. Okay? So they say, although most of the drivers have been employed for many years, there has been recently a high level of turnover for porters. Okay, what does this mean? The porters are the workers that do the manual handling jobs, and lately they've been going through them a lot. So they hire some people, they quit. They hire them, they quit. They hire them, they quit. So this is what's meant by turnover. So, who protested at working condition but were never taken seriously. So you have these poor porters, okay? They protested at working condition. They say, we refuse to work like this. You have to find us a solution. This is what is meant by protested. Not, make protest and gather all the work. No, maybe it does mean that too, but what they mean here is that they said, we refuse to work like this. These working conditions, they need to be improved, but they were never taken seriously. So the manager said, whatever. Maybe that's why he was getting more and more workers. Nobody knows. Many of the existing porters are young and inexperienced. So you see here, the porters are young and inexperienced. When you have the drivers, they have been employed for many years. So the drivers have more experience, and the porters, they are young and inexperienced. Now, the drivers will help in moving items from inside to outside, but the porters are the ones doing all the lifting, all the moving, if the job can be done by one person. You see the point here? So, for example, the piano, we will see it later, it needs more than one person. Well, it needs more than two people, but only two people move it. Nevertheless, these people, the porters now, say many of the existing porters are young and inexperienced. Young and inexperienced. Why? Because of the high turnover rate. And several job positions remain vacant. So there has also been an increase in levels of short-term sickness, absence for both the drivers and porters. I wonder why. Which is consistent with the reports of increased musculoskeletal disorders being diagnosed. Okay, a few points to remember here, not just reading the words and moving on. There has been an increase in levels of short-term sickness, absence. Okay, this means two things. People are getting sick and they're not coming to work, but it also means that there are some reporting that are taking place. So this is also a good sign for both drivers and porters, which is consistent with the reports of increased musculoskeletal disorders being diagnosed. Now, musculoskeletal disorders are basically you have your fingers, right? Uh, if you look at your hands right now as I'm speaking, if you look at the palm of your hands, you'll see that each finger has three joints. The finger itself is attached to your palm by joints. The hand itself is attached to the wrist or attached to the arm with your wrist. The forearm is attached to the bicep in a joint. You see, the arm, all of it is attached to the shoulder, and all. So these are the joints of your body. When they say musculoskeletal disorders, it means anything connected to your body in a joint. Okay, this is talking about the skeleton, what they call skeletal. This is the skeleton part. But when they say musculoskeleton or musculoskeletal, this means that they're talking about the muscles and the joints in which two parts of your body meet. Musculoskeletal disorders. So they're talking about your knees, your neck, your arm, your wrists, your ankles, any place you have joints. This is where they're talking about. So, which is consistent with reports of increased musculoskeletal disorders being diagnosed. Okay. As the size of removal activities varies considerably. So, ranging from a few small items. So, for example, I say I have a chair, 2 tables, and a TV. So, a few small items to the content of large houses. For example, to office relocation. So, if I say I need to move my house, I have a fridge, I have a freezer, I have TVs, I have big couches, I have everything. And sometimes maybe I have a few chairs and whatnot. And if I move in offices, I have lockers, I have big desks, AC units, many items. So as the size of removal activities varies considerably, the number, sorry about that, I had a small problem. So as the size of the removal activities varies considerably, the number of people involved with each job also varies. This could involve just a single driver or several vehicles and multiple porters. As both drivers and porters are required to carry furniture and other large items, manual handling training is carried out annually. Okay, so they do manual handling training, for which I have another video. You can check it out on my channel. It's called Manual Handling Risk Assessment. So the company does manual handling training annually, so every year, by an external training company. Okay, this is also good. They provide training by an external external company. But let's not forget that we have new workers. Hopefully you didn't miss this, but you need to focus on key words. For example, the training is carried out annually, right? And we remember reading that there has been a high staff turnover rate, or an increase in the in the staff turnover. Now, if the employee was just hired 2 days ago, and the annual training was done last month, this means this guy will have to wait 11 months to receive the manual handling training, right? Maybe I'm right. Actually, I know I'm right, so just keep that in mind. Each vehicle is equipped with a tail lift. A tail lift, let me show you. So this is a tail lift. You'll find it in the back of trucks. This is a lift, and it's in the back of the truck. So tail, lift, tail, lift. So each vehicle is equipped with a tail lift, and here it's giving you an explanation, but I showed you a picture. Hopefully that was worth 1,000 words. A tail lift is a powered lifting and lowering platform at the rear of the vehicle. So the tail lift carries equipment to assist with removal activities. Okay, for example, sack barrows and platform trolleys. Let me show you what these are. So these are images of platform trolleys, and these are images of sack barrows, just for references. So now we know what a tail lift is, and what they use to help with the lifting of equipment. They have sack barrows and platform trolleys, just like I showed you a few seconds ago. You have just returned from 2 weeks annual leave. So your annual leave just finished. For example, you worked all year, you took your 2 weeks off, and when you were away, during your regular weekly meeting, when you're away, an accident happened. So in your weekly meeting with the manager, they inform you. The manager here, they don't specify if it's a man or a woman, so they say they. They inform you that a porter has been hurt while you were on leave. Okay. This is too bad. Somebody was injured while moving a piano at a client's house. Okay. So they were moving a piano at a client's house. The porter sustained a fractured ankle. Okay. A fractured ankle. And has been discharged from a stay in hospital following surgery. So this means because of the fractured ankle, this person had to go, undergo a surgery. He stayed at the hospital for a while. After that, he was discharged. Means he was sent home. The porter will be off work for several months. Okay. Now, you have to think about direct and indirect costs here, and you will know what you have to do. It is probable that there will be enforcement action because of this accident. Okay, enforcement action from the enforcement agency. The manager tells you that they believe the young, inexperienced porter was messing around. Okay, so he is young, he is inexperienced, and the manager is telling you that this person was messing around. As there are records describing the porter's involvement in previous near-miss incidents. Okay, so this manager is telling you that there were reports and telling you that this guy was messing around and he was involved in near misses. Okay. You're asked to carry out an investigation into the accident and provide a report to help ensure that lessons can be learned and similar accidents can be avoided in the future. Okay, this is normal practice for any company, so this is also a good sign. This will be the second accident in the last 3 months. The earlier accident was where a driver broke their wrist assisting a young porter with a heavy item of furniture. So now we have 2 accidents. One of them is an ankle and the other one is a wrist. So this driver was helping the young porter. Pay attention here, okay? Young porter with a heavy item of furniture. So let's say a couch or a dresser or something. that resulted in an improvement notice being issued. So there was a previous enforcement agency action served to this company. Okay, so they were issued with an improvement notice. The injured driver also pursued a civil claim. So this guy, when he was injured, he filed a claim. Okay, he filed a civil claim, and I don't know, maybe he took money from the company, as a compensation for his injury. Now, you spoke to the relevant driver about the latest accident, not the one about the wrist, about the ankle. You talk to the relevant driver about the latest accident, and they maintain that the young porter was acting responsibly at the time. So he was not messing around. He was doing his job or her job correctly. The driver explained that access to the client's house was limited. Okay? Now, pay attention here, okay? The access was limited with a long graveled driveway that was too narrow for the large removal vehicle to negotiate. So you have, for example, this is where the piano is, and here you have a long driveway, very, very long, and this is where you had to park your truck, but the truck was wider than the road. You see, the road is narrow, the truck is wide. You couldn't drive it on here. Even if you could, there was gravel here. We all know what gravel is, right? So there was gravel here, here, here. All of this was gravel. You could not use your car or your vehicle to go into, to go close to the place from which you can take the piano. So it was too narrow for the large removal vehicle to negotiate. As a result, items needed to be carried a significant distance, say from here all the way here to where the vehicle was parked. So it was a long and difficult job. So due to the gravel driveway, the workers were unable to use the trolleys to move the large piano. They could not use the trolley. Where is the trolley? Right here. They couldn't put the piano on here and take it to the car or to the truck because of the gravel on the ground. As a result, it was a long and difficult job to carry the piano to the removal vehicle. So before they did that, before they moved it, the driver felt that the job needed to be done differently. And remember, the manager is responsible of doing the risk assessment and see if this job needs more resources, manpower or equipment and whatnot, including more workers being allocated to this task. So this is the driver here thinking. The driver felt that it was, the job needed to be done differently, including the more workers being allocated to this task. However, when they had phoned the office to express their concerns, so they called the office, the manager told them to do their best. Guys, just deal with it, do your best. Why? Because there is no one else available to help at this time. Okay, so as a result, the workers felt pressurized to continue with the task. Okay? They didn't want to do it, but they had to. They had managed to get the piano to the end of the driveway when the porter collapsed in pain. So let's say they carried the piano, they carried it from here all the way to here to the end of the driveway. I don't know why they say the drive, they should say driveway. When the porter collapsed in pain, the driver used their personal mobile phone to call for an ambulance. Okay? Keep this in mind, okay? They should have first aid kits in the truck because they're a company vehicle, but they don't. Anyway, okay, we're up here now. The driver used their personal phone to call for an ambulance, and the porter was admitted to the hospital. So this carrier, this manual handling worker, also got into the hospital. On informing the office of the accident, a second work crew were redirected to the house to complete the removal. Okay, this is interesting. So on informing the office of the accident, so as soon as you as soon as you informed the office of this incident, a second work crew were redirected to the house to complete the removal immediately. But the manager just said we don't have anybody else. Anyways, I just wanted to point that out. The driver is quite angry about the accident. They tell you that they see frequent examples of where management seem more concerned about getting the job done than they are with workers' health and safety. So again, this company, what a surprise. This company is also production. The driver has previously explained about enough people, complained. The driver has previously complained about not enough people being allocated to large or difficult jobs. So the driver knows what he's doing, and I said some jobs needed more people, and I have said this many times, but they do not think that management fully appreciates the difficulties workers experience. So, for example, if you are the manager and I'm telling you, sir, we need more people for this job, like, what? No, come on, you can do it. I don't care how they do it, actually, because I'm the manager. I just need them to do it. So they also believe that management have never actually carried out a removal, and they do not consult sufficiently with workers about jobs. Okay, now we have a few points here. The first point is this guy is saying that management doesn't understand how hard we work. They do not appreciate the effort we put in the job. If anyone of management comes to do the job, they will not be able to do it. Okay? That's what they mean when they say they also believe that management have never actually carried out a removal, and they do not consult sufficiently. Sufficiently means there is some consultancy going on. So this this company is consulting with the workers, blah blah blah, but it's not enough. The manager earlier said that he does that daily on a regular basis, whatever, it's important to him. But the driver feels like it's not being done sufficiently with workers about their jobs. So as part of your investigation, you analyze both the generic risk assessment and the safe system of work for removals on domestic premises. Now, you remember, we said we have a safe system of work, risk assessment, all of that. So it is your job now to analyze them. And what you found was that you noticed that both documents were produced when? 5 years ago. 5 years ago. You advised the manager that these documents need reviewing as a matter of urgency. They have to be reviewed. The manager asks for your assistance in reviewing these documents. So we'll come back to that in the tasks. You also take the opportunity to bring to the manager's attention the importance of prioritizing health and safety. You have to tell them that we have to think of this and take it more seriously. You highlight the worrying trend of increased lost time of workers. So you have reports, you have records, and you see a trend of increased lost time of workers. Okay. An increase in recent accidents. Okay. So this means there are good, there are records, there are good stuff. Okay. And that subsequent investigations incur greater costs to the company, especially as another civil claim is expected due to the latest accident. So it's all about money, and it's saying that if we don't take this seriously, there will be more and more and more accidents and more civil claims, and of course there will be more insurance premiums higher. Maybe they will drop us. They will not, nobody will want to insure us, and if we don't have insurance, nobody will hire us. All of that. So this guy knows what he's doing, and he's showing management that this needs to be done. But I hope this was a good enough explanation. I'm not giving answers. I will not give answers, but I just wanted you guys to read between the lines, and hopefully this was useful. Okay? Good luck, guys. I'll see you in the tasks.